transition. All right, people should be able to hear me. I don't know if anybody's watching. All right, getting this started. Just checking Discord while we wait. All right. Awesome. Nice to have you. How do you want me to say that? WKE? Just waiting for everything to get started here. Anybody have any questions? If anybody's got any questions, feel free to ask. Like, we're just here to hang out, answer questions. Just chill. Maybe write some code. I know I'm working on this code sharing website that I've been working on Wednesday nights. Just real quick checking all the Discord stuff. We can pull it over here. Nothing too crazy going on. We've got a question here. Let's see. So they're doing the leak code problem here. It's the one where you have to make that bigger. Like that. It's the one where you have to make sure that you have the correct number of opening and closing symbols. Here's the instructions right here. So like for every opening parentheses, you need a closing parentheses. For every opening curly, you need a closing curly. For every opening square, you need a closing square, and they need to be in the correct order, and every one has to be closed. And it looks like they're looping through. Character app. What are they doing? Character app. So they're starting at the first character and they're looping through to the length. So right there, we're seeing a problem because if you do less than or equal to s.length, hey Loudcat, how's it going? So like if you're doing less than or equal to s.length, it's going to go out of bounds. It's going to go beyond the end of the array. So right there, they've got their first problem. And then they're doing. So like they're just checking the next character. They're checking the next character, and if the next character matches, they add 2. So they're actually pretty much never gonna have this iterate to the next character, because first off, they're gonna skip characters, and it'll only skip a character if the current character is followed by the next character. So like you're looking at, like, if it's like that, it'll go to the next character. But if it's like this, it will not, because they're checking the next one, and so it won't work. If did the thing have? There goes the train again. It likes to go by when I'm streaming, doesn't it? Alright, so Just trying to help them back here. Let's see. That's a loud one. I hope you guys can hear me. Hey Miranda, how's it going? We're just helping someone out with a leak code problem on Discord. They're gonna have some work to do. Maybe we can go find this one. Awesome. Good thing you can. The train is all gone now, so now it shouldn't be an issue. It was a short train, a loud one, but short. It's like the way you want to solve this problem, and like maybe we'll find it on Leak Code, and I can show how it works. The way you want to solve this is you want to have a stack. So you're gonna push every time you find an opening character, you're gonna push it onto the stack. And then every time you find a closing character, you're going to pop whatever's on the top of the stack, compare them, and make sure they match. You have the opening and the closing. And if you do, you just keep going. If you don't, then you know it's invalid. And then if the stack is empty, once the stack is empty, you're all good. Oh yeah, let me share my screen. That'd probably make sense, wouldn't it? I keep doing that. Transition. There we go. So like right here, we're working on this problem right here. Helping them out with this problem. So you've got the opening, you have a string containing opening and closing characters. And you got to make sure the brackets all match and that all the brackets are closed and that they're all in order. And their code right now is just looping through the characters, but they're only incrementing to the next, and they're not even going to the next. They're skipping one. If the next character is the closing bracket. So if they have an opening, and then they have a closing one, it won't work. But if they have like the opening and then the matching closing, it will go ahead by 2. So it'll only work if the opening and closing are adjacent to each other. So they need to use a stack. Opening brace onto the stack, then when you encounter a closing character, you pop it from the stack. If they match. If they are not matching. How do I word this? And then what was their username? At swag. There we go. So let's see if we can't find that one on Leak Code, because that's a fun challenge. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Let's go to leakcode.com. Opening, closing, brackets. Search that. Valid parentheses. Is this the one? Is this the one? We'll find out. Just a second. Yeah, this is the one. So it's already got Python 3, but is valid. So what we're going to do is we're going to have our stack. And that's going to be a list. And then we're going to do for char in S, if char in the, right, like if it's in that, stack dot append char, else, now if, actually, let's do this. We'll do a mapping right like this. So then we're going to have nope, wrong one. And then we're going to do boom, that, and then we're going to do There, that was handy. That worked for in mapping. So if the character is in the mapping, so if it's one of the keys of the mapping, we're going to go ahead and append it to the stack. Elif, we're going to do stack dot pop, and that's going to grab the last item that was appended to the stack. And then we got to do mapping. So we're going to grab what it should equal. Equals char. And then what does it want us to do? Is valid. So we just have to return false. So return false. And then down here, we want to return bool stack, not bool stack. So we don't even need the bool. We can just do not, right, like that. Because that way, if the stack has something on it still, and something wasn't closed, we want to fail. So, and since a stack with something on it is going to be truthy, not stack is going to be false. So this should, in theory, run code. Oh, I gotta log in. Let's just copy that to make sure we don't accidentally. Did I use my GitHub for this? There we go. Yep, I used my GitHub for that. And there we go. So let's try running the code. Should work. Accepted. All right, cool. And let's just real quick. Let's see. Can I change the input test case? Yes, I can change the test case. So let's do this. Let's test that one. Run code. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. So that worked. Now let's do something a little bit crazier. Let's add one more thing right at the end there. Just wait, the stack is going to get emptied, and then we're going to get a new stack. If the stack is not filled up again, that's what that's going to do. And that worked. Now let's just test it and make sure it works when the stack doesn't work. When the stack has something left over at the end, it's accepted. There we go. And then what if we have an invalid stack? Run code. Pending, speed up. There we go. Boom, accepted. So let's submit and see if we got it working. Index error, pop from empty list. Ooh, that's something we hadn't considered, is it? So what's happening there is there are too many closing characters. So they've got this right here. Let's get rid of that. So there we go. So now we have an extra closing character, and when we run that, it's going to explode. See, we got the same runtime error. So what we can do is if not stack or, so if we have a character and the stack is empty, or what we just popped from the stack doesn't map to the correct character that we just got from the string, then we return false as well. So there we go. There. And let's submit. Let's see if that one works. These run times are kind of funny to me because they change so randomly. I think it's because they have so many people screwing around, running stuff on the on their servers that the runtime changes crazily. If we run that again, let me see, we can run it again by hitting submit. It shouldn't be anywhere near 40 milliseconds. It's 45. That's quite a big change, honestly. I wouldn't expect this code to vary by 5 milliseconds. It should be pretty consistent. And then I've submitted too soon. Let's see if we can submit again now. And that one's 30 milliseconds. So see, it's jumping all over the place. It's a fairly large range. And when you look at this up here, you'll bounce around from 92 to 87. It bounces around quite a bit, so it doesn't really mean anything. I just find it funny. But yeah, so there we go. That's how you do that one. Pretty simple. Python makes it super easy because you can just create the mapping dictionary. You can probably do that in other languages as well, pretty simply. But it's super duper simple in Python to do it this way. Another way we could do it is rather than appending character, we could append mapping, right, like this, mapping char. So this way we're appending what we're looking for, and then we just do stack.pop, right, like that, and then let's just submit because we know that's going to work right away, and boom, that worked. ran in 53 milliseconds, and that should be just about as, that should actually probably be faster because you're not doing a lookup on every one. But I don't know. You probably, not really, never mind. But yeah, so there's a couple ways to do it that are pretty similar. Be fun to see your guys' solutions if you got any. If you come up with any, you can share them in chat or on Discord. Yeah. So yeah, let's see, what else can we do? Like, I've been working. Why does that look like that? Let's reload that. There we go. And then we can put this back over here, right like that. Yeah. Oh, RBR her. No question asked. Yep. All right. So I think that's probably good enough for that right now. Right there. 0, so I can read it. All right. So where were we at with? Anybody have any questions for anything like that? What's going on, guys? Yeah, so like, where were we with this project? Right. Probably should just run it, you know what I mean? Dot bit. Poetry run python-m bit. And then if I go, where was that being hosted? That was on 8,000. There we go. All right, so we got the authenticate, we've got create. So where's create going here? Oh, that's what we got to do. We've got to create everything, don't we? It's going to be fun. Yeah, don't forget, like, if you got any questions, let me know. I can answer them. If you got any fun problems you'd like me to look at, we can look at them. Like, can't promise you got a complicated one that I'll be able to make any heads or tails out of it on a stream like this, but I don't generally do like the leak code problems. Like, I'm not a huge fan of like the complicated, you gotta know the algorithm kind of stuff. So yeah. But like some of them, they're pretty straightforward, they're pretty simple. Like, I don't mind them too much. Alright, so we've got the create, which doesn't actually do anything. The database, do we have that working? Token, the code token. I don't think we have the database working yet, do we? I don't have any tests on this project, so it's hard to tell. What was I going to use? I was going to use Postgres, so I've got Alembic set up. Right, okay. So we've got Alembic set up. Did I have that all configured? Pretty easy way to tell. Yep, we've got the base set up. We're setting up the base metadata. So this is all functioning. One thing that it's not doing, import syncio dot run, right like that. And then we've got to make this async. So I want to make this .ext.asyncio async engine. Nope. Yeah, that's the one we want. Async engine from config, right like that. And then that's going to break this. And then we do async engine from config, right like that. And then we do async. Then we have to do async, and then we have to await. Connection.run sync. No, can't remember. I have another project that's doing it that way. We can do, let's kill that. And then we can do cat code, migrations, env. This one right here has it all set up. How did I do it in here? Create connection, run migrations online. So we have connectable right there. just copy that right there. That's going to go right here. Do migrations. Do run migrations. Right here. So that'll make that, should make that async. And then the tricky part becomes, like, I like Alembic in one respect that, like, it makes it easy to do a lot of powerful things with migrating your database and all that, but it doesn't come out of the box supporting async, and it doesn't have a great story for how you handle running migrations and tests, how you handle running migrations locally, how you run migrations in production. Like you have three places where you want to run. You want to be able to run it locally, so you can just like pull up your site and bounce around on your site and do stuff with your site. And then you want to be able to run it in your tests. So in your tests, you want to have a database that you can bring up and down really quick, and just wipe out everything that's in it without having to worry about like how much time it takes. So you're usually using like a SQLite memory database. And then you want to be able to, and then you need to be able to run it in production. So you're going to run these migrations in your tests, you're going to run it in your local, and then you can run it on production. And from what I've seen, Alembic doesn't have a great story for how you do all that, which is not, it's not a lot of fun. So I've been like messing around with it on this project here, trying to get it working, getting it right. I don't feel like I got it working right. I was just messing with that before I jumped onto this stream, and like, I can't seem to get it working. I don't know. It's really odd. So it's something I'm going to have to mess around with more, I think. And see if I can't figure out what is wrong with it. Yeah. It's a fun project. Something I got to mess around with more, I think. And yeah, don't let me monopolize this conversation. Like, if you got any questions, let me know. Ooh, what's going on here? So yeah. Alright, what's going on here? Run sync. So we're getting to do the, we're doing the migrations, we're beginning a transaction, we're running the migrations. I think part of the difficulty that Alembic is dealing with is that SQL Alchemy just recently added async support. So a lot of the async stuff in Alembic is experimental. So they're figuring it out slowly but surely. Like one of the things that right here, what is this? One of the things that they are figuring out is like how to make it all work, and like it's getting there. I'm able to get it to run. I was able to get the migrations to run. It just didn't seem like they impacted my memory database, and I'm not sure if like somehow the memory database got reconnected or what happened. Actually thinking about it, this might be why. Maybe I need to use a null pool class. The pool class is just like how it pools connections. So you might have, so because you don't want to have everything go over the same connection, because you can only have one query happening at a time on a connection. So if you have like a bunch of people using the same connection, you've got to queue up each of the queries and do them one at a time, get the response, do the next one, get the response, right? So what you can do is you can pool connections. So you'll have like 5 or 6 different connections to the database, and then your ORM handles changing which connection is being used every time you make a query. So it's doing like a round robin of each of the connections. And so you can tell it to use a null pool. Does it have docs for that here? A pool which does not pool connections. A pool which does not pool connections. There you go. So yeah, this literally will just use a single pool, a single connection in the pool. So and that might be the issue. Like I'm literally like it might literally be the fact that like it's creating like 5-6 connections to a memory database, and with the memory database you can't create multiple connections to it. Each connection is to his own memory database. So if it's not, if I'm, that's what I'm thinking it might be. Now that I'm thinking about it, it might be that might be the case. Because like you see in this, I have this create connection, which is run right here. But if there's already an event loop running, it pulls the connection from the config attributes, and that connection, I don't think it's in my tests. It's like we do summer of code /test database. So up here, DB right here, we're creating the async engine, and I'm not setting the pool, so that might be why it's breaking. So we could probably find out here if we. How do I do that? We've got to copy this bit right here. We got to copy that. We got to put it right here. Create connection. We need that right there. And we put that in here. Create connection. Config. Oh, this is from my other thing. That's this code right here. All right? Yeah. And so this is going to be connectable. I can spell. There we go. As connection. And then we have, get rid of that. We're going to just do this. And instead of that, we do return. Right, like that. And then we're telling it to use the null pool. Create connection. And then let me just copy all of this for now. And we'll create a test. And I think I've got to add pi tests to this project. That I don't want to create there. I want to create it. And directory tests. And then we do test database. Like that. We're not going to be using this. We're not going to be using that. Go away. And then here, this should have that in here. Where is it? There it is. Memory. Like that. It's this way. And then I pass that. I'm going to call migrations. Migrations is this. And then I called my migrations folder Alembic. Right, like that. So this is where I'm setting the attributes connection, which is what gets read here. Back to the tests. There we go. Test database migration. And we have to do from bit.models. We'll do user, import user. So there we go. That works right like that. I don't know what that's going to do just yet. We need to do more fixture mark. That needs extra space. I feel like this is going to blow up in some way. Let's see. Setup failed. Fixture context not found. Oh, there we go. Run that. What exploded? I bet you it's going to tell me... Oh, it's telling me no active connection. Good lord. Where is the actual error message? somewhere in this file, in all this output, no such table user. So that's the error message. No such table user. But then again, we didn't do the pool. What's the docs for this? Oh god. Sync engine, create engine. Trying to figure out what the parameters are to this thing. How do I set the pool? Good lord. Okay, so yeah, we set the pool the same way we did in here. So here we're setting the pool right like that. And then where are we importing that? Literally from SQL Alchemy. So let me go back to the tests. And then we do right here, we're creating the thing. SQL Alchemy. So we got to do one more thing. Dot pool. Right like that. There we go. We got it. Now if I run it, does it still give me the same error message? Where is the actual message? No such table user. So the migrations aren't working on the connection for some reason. Why is that? Because I know, like if I do this, like if I print out, print connection, connection, right like that. Okay, so we're printing that out. And then if I come over here to env.py, and I come down here, and oh, we're missing something. Right? Yeah, we're missing this line right here. So of course nothing got created. So let's try running that again. Oh, still the same thing. Probably the exact same error. Select user, no such table user, right there. So if we jump into run migrations and we do wait a minute. Nope, I think that gives us the same problem, right? No such table user. What on earth? Doesn't make any sense. Huh. And then like, but like what I was doing here is I'm gonna print got connection, and then we run that. And then if we scroll up here, we see we've got connection, which is where inside my tests I print this out. And I've got object at OX111 A60F40. And then over here I've got object at 111 A60F40. So they're both the exact same object. The address is the exact same instance. So I'm not sure why my tables aren't showing up. It's doing begin transaction. Very, very strange. Let's try this. How do we SQL Alchemy async.io insert. Let's see if we can't figure out how he's t1.insert. Literally, he's doing it right like that. So Let's do this. db user.insert. And what fields does user have? We need to copy all of these fields. Discord ID. Do we have defaults? Which ones do we not have defaults on? All right, so we have defaults on all of these except for name and Discord ID. So we've just got to pass in Discord ID. And then it was name. Yeah, name. Bob. Let's try running that. And does it give me... Has no T1. What is T1 exactly? Does he have that somewhere in this code? No, he doesn't. I would assume T is for table. Oh, wait. No. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Here's a more worked out example, maybe. So let's do this. Like, we're just gonna keep poking it until we figure something out, right? db.engine. Session maker. Where does that come from? Here. And then where does async session come from? It comes from right here. Just putting everything right in the function so it's all together. User, Discord ID. Come on. Oh, good God. I keep hitting the wrong button. And then name, Bob. So what is the error message this time? Like, it doesn't tell me anything useful down here, does it? Yeah, it says no such table user. Insert into user, Discord ID, name, auto update. Why is it saying there's no user? Makes no sense. Makes no sense at all. Wait, connection.commit. Maybe? It's worth a shot, like. Now what? Now what? Yeah, it's still saying no such table user. What the heck? Ugh. What is going on? Oh, goodness. Option string, that's not what we want. I'm very confused as to what is happening. You know what? Let's look at this. Let's just copy our revision. Is this the second revision? This is the first revision. So let's come over here. This should be, if we come over here, we can see, yeah, this one has a down revision. So this is the latest revision. And then we'll come back over here to test. And we'll give it that. And just, nope, that didn't fix it. So we're telling it explicitly what revision to apply up to didn't seem to function. What are we missing here? What is not working? Like, I know it's coming into here. Context dot. Trying to understand what this thing is doing here. Where it's flunking out on me. Got connection. Right, so that's from here. We can get rid of that. I'm not seeing the thing I told it to print out. Yeah, there's 0 results. So it's not even, it's not getting to this line. Run that. Not getting to there. What? I had a different print in here, and that seemed to work, right? I literally just deleted a print. Yeah, I had a print there right a minute ago. If I do this, that shows up there. And if I change that to this, it doesn't show up. If I get rid of that, what on earth? That makes no sense. Why would it not show up if I ask it to give me the revision argument? So confusing. Like, I swear, these people try to make their code too magical, too smart, and then you can't actually make things work the way you want them to because you bump into weird edge cases, and it's so bizarre. It's so bizarre. Like, let me do this. Raise. Do that. Exception. Explode. So, like, it can't go past that line. Am I losing my mind? How does that even make sense? How does that even make sense? Can someone explain to me what is happening? Just make sure that gets flushed. Wait a minute. No, nope, it showed right there. Printed out the high right there. But nowhere in here is the explode error that I told it to do. Like, it should have this exception being raised, and I don't see it anywhere. How does that make any sense? What the heck? just for the hell of it. Yeah, so that gives an error. Because it's a none type. Await asyncio dot sleep 5. Do that. Make it sleep for a few seconds before we try to do anything. And this should tell us no such table users. If we get rid of this, let's get rid of both of those. And let's run it again. It's going to wait 5 seconds. And it's still going to tell me the same thing, isn't it? I was just like curious if no such table user. I was curious if maybe the migration was just taking extra time and running like a different thread. But no, it's not. That's not what's happening. It's just like, what the heck? So let's try this. Let's go back to the way this was. Can we just go back all the way? There we go. So we're back all the way it was before. And I'm going to go ahead and async it again. Import asyncio. Asyncio. Come on. Run. Right, like that. And we got to jump up here. Async def run migrations. If context dot or config dot attributes if connectable in connectable equals, I can spell, that might help. Else we create the connectable right like that. Wait, connection dot run sync. I think that's correct. And so there, if we're setting the connectable inside of attributes, like that. So this, oh, we got to do, come on, stay up here. Dot ext dot asyncio, and then we do async engine from config, right like that. Then we come back down here, and we got to change this to async. Like that. And then we come back over here to the tests. We're going to pass in engine, right like that. Put it there. So we're passing in the connectable, and then into migrations. And then we're setting connectable, right? That's what I called it. Go back here. Yeah, we called it connectable. So we're setting connectable there. Get rid of this and get rid of that. Try running it again. Got a different error. Oh, right, yes. So we can't do this here. I had that code in here somewhere. Where is it? Oh, it's this one right here. create task. What's the name of that function? Run migrations. Run migrations online. Really like that. Okay, cool. Now, this explodes with the same. What is happening? Hey, no problem, swag. Oh, goodness. All right. I don't understand what is not happening. Like, what is the thing that isn't happening? Await. I don't even know at this point. Wait connection dot execute. Select users from select star from user. That's the table it should be creating. So like, I'm trying to think here. Run migrations. No. I don't even know at this point. And that's the thing, like if I jump into this, it just brings me to docs. There's actually nothing here. Like it literally is just the documentation for that function. Like there's some kind of magic happening where they're inserting, I don't even know. It's really weird. It's so weird. Data. Like maybe I don't know what's in this. This should contain like all the tables that are going to be created. Maybe for some reason they're not getting loaded into the metadata. So I'm trying to see if I can't find. So we can do, this is what we can do. We can do metadata.tables. Yeah, so like it has the audit table. And then like it has, oh, we gotta keep scrolling. Let's do this. We can make this easier. Import pretty print. Then we can do pretty print dot like that, and then it prints out, and we can see we've got the bit table, we've got the code table, we've got the file table, we've got the user table, we have the audit table. So all the tables are there. So the metadata is being bound. So therefore, Alembic should be able to see everything that's supposed to be happening. What is not working? That's the question. Where are things not happening that are supposed to be happening? Now, then here's another question. What if we did this? What if we go into the tests, and we go into tests, and rather than doing a memory database, we do test.db, all right? So we're going to do an actual database. And like we see the test.db just got created, right? And this is probably going to have nothing useful because this is going to be the exact same issue. And then if I run it again, no such table user. If I get rid of the migrations and I run it again, no such table user. And there's no other database file being created, right? I don't see one. What is happening? It's so weird. It makes no sense. Now, like, let's see if we do. Let's come over here to mpi. Where is it loading in the URL? Get section. There we go. That's where it's getting the section. So that's pulling in from alembic.ini, right? So what I'm going to do, instead of database.db, it's like if I come over here and I do poetry run Alembic. How do I make this work? Good God. Alembic. Run migration. Oh, God. Don't want to list anything. I don't want to configure anything. I just want to know how to run your stupid thing. Oh, good God. Revision. I don't want to create a revision. I want to upgrade head. So if I do Alembic upgrade head, right like that. No running event loop. Okay. So we got to go fix that. So we come over here, we go mpi, and then we can do try loop. Except runtime error. Make that line right. Otherwise, loop or create task should equal syncio.run. Right like that. Right like that. All right. Okay. So we gotta go back over here. We've got this set up wrong right here. Let's go back to our test because I have the correct string right here. We gotta tell it to use the async driver. Well, it's like I'm only confused because their thing is doing weird stuff. Like I showed you, like it's literally jumping into a function that has no code in it. It's just a doc string. And it's like, all right, so where's anything coming from? I was literally able to have a print statement show up if it was just a string, but if I call their function, my print statement never shows up. If I raise an exception, it never raises. So it's like, I don't understand what's happening. Where is anything going? Oh, goodness. Why is this exploding now? That should be working correctly. Because if I come over here, let's Alembic asyncio, right like that. And then we go over to the cookbook. Yeah, it's in the cookbook. And then if I do async he shows how to do it. So then you run migrations online. Async with await connectable. Let's suppose. Is that in here? Let's just copy his code for now. We'll just get this working exactly as it should be. Right, like that. Right, cool. That's not what I want to do. I want to do this. All right, so running upgrade. So now it just created database.db. So let's get rid of that, right? And then let's do it with a different file. Go back to, I thought I had the Alembic open. Alembic.ini. We're going to do this. We're going to do tests/testdb. Right? And then we can run the audit or the upgrade. And so now that right there, this file right here should contain all of the tables, right? And then if we come back to the tests and we're getting the connection, where are we getting the connection? This is the wrong file. Why are we in the wrong file? Go away all these extra files. Here we go. So we're connecting to the test DB, okay? with no pool. We're getting the connection. We're yielding it out. So this is getting the connection. This should, in theory, be adding a user to the session and then attempting to query it. All right. So that seems to have worked. So it's only when we try to run the migrations from here that things explode and just don't want to work. Yeah. So let's see. Maybe we can do this. Alembic, PyTest, SQLite, memory, DB. So here's someone asking the question, and there are no answers. Yay. And they're using SQL Alchemy, Flask SQL Alchemy, which I have had issues with in the past, partly just because of how Flask works. So that's not something I can use. All right. So maybe we've got to use like this package here. Let's see how this works. And like the question then becomes, will this package work with async? Which is a bit of a pain in the neck. Because like all of our code is going to be async because we're using Fast API. So we have to figure out how to make that work. Okay. So it can't hurt to try at this point. Like, nothing is functioning. Nothing is working the way we need it to. So let's get rid of that. I'm just trying to understand. Let's make this a little bit bigger. We can zoom in so everybody can see. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to do poetry, add. How do we install this? Quick Start. PyTest-Alembic. PyTest-Alembic. Dev. We only need it for dev. We're not running tests in production. So there we've got PyTest-Alembic. And then we need to do what? The pitch, built-in tests, test upgrade, test consistency. All right, so then we've got to go. So we got to go back to setup. All right, I see what he's doing. So he's literally he's doing the same thing I was trying to do. We'll see if his works any better. So in here, where there's this, he wants us to add this right here. Right like that. And then we indent that. So that's going to grab the connection from the attributes, which is what I was already trying to do. So we'll see if that works any differently. So next up, Well, that's an interesting thing to notice. Right there. So that'll allow PyTest to function better. Hopefully showing us error messages. So then if we run this, it explodes because there's no database. They had to create the database. So let me do that. And then we're going to come back to INI. Nope, not INI. I want to go here. And I want to do migration. So I think that's what we want to do. We're slowly figuring it out here. We're getting there slowly but surely. We'll see a block. Indicates type comparison behavior during an auto-generate option. Use a schema, setting up fixtures. So we need to create a conf test file. Py conf test.py. There we go. And in here, we're going to be setting up some fixtures. CFG. Turn CFG, because we're going to be overriding some stuff. From import PyTest. All right, next up, we need to override. What do we got to override? We need to do. No, actually, I don't think we need to do anything to the config. We just need to return it. But what we do need to do is we need to override the engine, right, like this. This is the one that we need to override. From SQLAlchemy.ext.asyncio, import create async engine. Right like that. And then we're going to do memory. Right like that. Just advertising their own thing. Let's try running that, see what happens. Task exception was never retrieved. Alembic context has no attribute config. I was wondering about that when I saw it. He did that. I think we just need to do this. Try running that. Task exception was never retrieved. I'm unable to open database file. Interesting. Alright. Where on earth? How on earth do we make this run? Let's get rid of all of this, because none of that makes sense. What you want? How you code internal persistence with engines? There's plenty of flexibility. So what we gotta do is get rid of that. We'll keep that for now. From PyTest. No, I don't want that. How do we use it, guys? That's how we set it up, but how do we use it in a test? Running tests. Oh, good God. Is it as simple as that? Please tell me it's as simple as that. Fixture DB not found. One big engine. In theory, that should be our engine. Wait, or no, async with engine or alembic engine dot connect as DB like that. Alembic engine, run that. Did I goof up someplace? Where'd the tests go? Conf test. Yeah, I did. What was that? That one right there. Now we'll run it. And something else exploded. No such stable user. What the heck? Why? Hello, Arian. I'm wondering if this is a bug with async in Alembic. Because that's the only thing that makes sense. That's the only thing that makes sense. Let's do test.db, and then let's delete this right here. Test.db got created. Doesn't look like it did it. No such stable user. Run it again. No such table user. I don't understand why I can't get Alembic to run. Like, we're literally using a package that supposedly does everything we're supposed to do, and it doesn't seem to work. Now, if I come up here to, like, env.py, let's print connectable. Did it print it anywhere? Doesn't look like it did. So you know what we can do? We can let's put something to mark it so we can see if it did it. And then we can search for, yeah, there's nothing in here. What is happening? Why is it doing this? Why is it broken? Why is it not printing anything? At least before I could get it to print something every once in a while. I'm trying to think if there's anything else we can do to make this work. So it's successfully getting me an engine. Like, it's successfully creating a database connection. It's just not working. So like, let's see if we do, let's go back over here. How is he creating tables? Let's go here, right? Well, that's another thing we could do. Maybe we don't need to run Alembic. You know why? Here's why we don't necessarily. So we're barking down the wrong tree, I think. Like, we can use Alembic to build our database locally. We can use Alembic to build our database in production. And then in the tests, all we really need to do, let's go back over here. Let's go ahead and get rid of all of the Alembic engine stuff, right like that. Let's get back the things I had before. DB. So we're going to get rid of migrations, right? We're going to get rid of that. And then we're going to do right here. And then we have to import our base from bit.models.base, import base, right like that. Okay. And then we're going to get rid of this. We're going to make this a memory database, right like that. And something exploded. What exploded? No such table user. Why? Why are you doing this to us, huh? Does that make it explode? No such table user. What is happening? What on earth is happening here? Session. How is he querying? Session dot execute. No such table user. What is going on? I know I've made this work before. I don't know why this is not working now. Okay, async engine. All right, let's do something crazy. Let's do something absolutely bonkers. Create engine. And then we're going to just do... We're going to get rid of all the async stuff. Drop all. So that gets rid of all the tables. This will create all to the tables. And the reason why we're doing that is because for every test, we want a fresh database. And then with engine connect, right like that. We don't need to make this async, so let's get rid of that. This doesn't need to be async anymore, so get rid of that. And then this doesn't need to be async. And this doesn't need to be async. Don't think we need that. Try running that. What are you talking about? Just get rid of that. SQL Alchemy create engine. Oh, we gotta get rid of this. Ta-da! Alright. Now what? Metadata object. Oh, okay. We gotta do con dot. God damn it. Is that it? We'll find out in a second. You don't have autocomplete, and it's freaking annoying. Has no attribute run. Alright. SQL Alchemy create tables. Creating table. This is going to show me the appropriate stuff here. Alright, I see. Okay. Drop all con create all con no such table. What on earth? This doesn't make any sense now. What is going on? Literally, if I do, if we get crazy, let's go crazy. Come on. Do the thing I need you to do. Move those out here. So we have those out there. And then let's do this. We're just going to add all of this right here. And print. Done. This way we can tell when we finished. Error. Test setup failed. Function object has no attribute. So we got to change db.engine. There we go. Test setup failed. What on earth? Like, am I losing my mind? Anybody know what's going on? Why is nothing working? It's not even working on the inserts. Like, it's literally hitting this line of code, this bit of code right here, and it's exploding. Because it says the table doesn't exist, but I created the tables right here. Alright. Orm Quick Start. We're gonna jump into the Orm Quick Start, okay? We're just gonna go, we're literally gonna do this. Where is he creating the tables? Come on. Tell me where you're creating the tables, bud. Like, did he create an engine? Create engine. He's not binding it to anything. These are not being bound to anything. Because like right here, he's got the base.metadata create all engine. And right here I have, well, maybe we can try that. Let's get rid of that. And we'll do this. We'll just do right here, engine. Same thing. So literally copied, literally, like we verified that the base has all the stuff, right? Let's do, we did the import pretty print, and then pretty print dot print, base dot metadata dot tables, right, like that. It's a function. It's not called. All right, so what is it? So we see our tables are inside of the metadata. Okay, so all the tables are in the metadata. Let's get rid of the drop all. We don't need that right now. It's still failing, saying that the user table doesn't exist, even though I just told it to create all. And he says here, omit to create table DDL. Using the method called a lot just happened from the code. All right. So now he's going to do the session. So let's see. From SQLAlchemy.orm import session. Get rid of this, and then we're going to do session engine, right? That's what he wanted us to do. Yeah, session engine as session. And then he wants us to do the add all. Right like that. And then we got to do session.commit. Right like that. Now how do we select? He shows us here he's taking his session and he's doing select. I'm just going to select all users. Users equals users. You're all seeing this, right? Was this still in the setup? Test setup failed. We can see if we can do that. Just a second. Font. Let's add a hotkey for it. Add keyboard shortcut. That will increase the font size. Add keyboard shortcut. That will decrease the font size. There we go. Is that better? All right. I'm absolutely mind-boggled at this point. So you know what we're gonna do? Let's make this even simpler. Let's make this even simpler. Let's grab all of this. We're gonna go into a Scratch file. Create new Scratch file from selection. It's a Python. We're gonna just make this work 100%. Right like this. Let's move this up to the top. We've got our base. We're importing pool. Now, how did he show to create the engine again? Let's just make sure everything is exactly as he said to do it. Right like that. And then we will try putting it all into can we turn that into something useful? We got a user, we added one user, so then we can do user 0 dot name. does he show how to extract the information? Commit, select, print user. Why are you not showing me pretty information? Because when I did list, that should have done... I don't know why it's not showing me some nice information. Because he's just... Oh, I see. Okay. So he's doing... Session.scalars. Nope, that's still ugly. What is different here? Well, we'll go ahead and just do the for loop. For user in user, or... Yeah, users. Print user. Did he set a nice little repr or something? Because... Dot name. Bob, there we go. Alright, so now we should be able to add a bunch of people. Jill. A bunch of different users that all show up. They all come through. We should be able to get their user.discord ID. Right, like that. Yeah, so we got their Discord. So that's working there. Right, like that. We're going to take this. And we're going to bring it back over here. We're going to a little bit at a time. We're just going to make this like that. That should be, and then if I do... Okay, so that worked right there, okay. So let's get this bit. Take that out. And then we're gonna go, we're gonna yield engine. And then we're gonna have engine. Then we run that. Oh. Engine. Run it. All right, so that worked. Now let's start trying to make this async, okay? .ext, .asyncio, .create async engine, right, like that. Engine.run sync. Right, like that. Yield engine. So that should create all of the tables. We've got to make this async. Right, like that. And then this has got to be async. And so we've got to do at mark asyncio, right, like that. Then we do async ext.asyncio async session, right, like that. Looking good so far, I think. Await. 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 What's the error message? Oh, yeah, right. We have to add the async driver back in. This, where'd it go? There it is. Let's duplicate this and go back in history. Duplicate. Back. Oh, nope, that doesn't have the history I thought it did. SQL, alchemy, SQL, Syncio. Await. So we have to do this. What line is giving that? 24? Oh, okay. Okay, that worked. So now we're one step closer. I'm working on the Bit website, trying to get the database working. And apparently that is very hard for me for some reason. But now we're making progress. All right. What next? What next here? We need to add assert users 0 dot discord ID equals 1. Let's make this test do something. Oh, it's gonna be our file sharing. So it's sort of like paste bin or something like that. But it's gonna be on beginner.codes. Yeah. Exploded is not subscriptable. All right. That will be. There we go. But like, is there a way to do it that way? Users dot doesn't give me any autocomplete. Nothing gives me. I hate this. There we go. All right, so now we've got a test that passes, that works with the async sessions. We have spent a lot of time on this, and we finally got something working. But yeah, we don't actually need to use Alembic for this, because when we're running the tests, we just want to run it on the latest code anyway. And the point of Alembic is to be able to upgrade an already existing database, or to go back to a previous state in a database. So that's the point of Alembic, for versioning your database and upgrading and downgrading your database that already exists. And with tests, we're just starting the database at 0, and away we go. So I don't know. I kind of got down a rabbit hole with that one, I think. But yeah, it works now. It's working good now. It's doing what we need it to do. And now I'll be able to use this for the other project. And that's how you do that. Don't try to do Alembic from your tests. There's not really a point to it. So we can do poetry, and we can remove this because we're not going to need that. Remove. Nope. Not found. All right, so maybe we have to leave that dev flag. There we go. There, got rid of that. All right. Anybody have any questions? Anything that they want to talk about? Like, tonight is like our hangout chat. So like, anything you want to do for like hanging out, anything like that, let me know. We can chat. All right. Is this? I'm just going through to make the commits for everything. And so I've just got to make sure So I go back over here to Alembic INI. Why am I having, why do I have bookmarks? I don't want bookmarks. Go away. The Alembic INI, we've got that. We're just going to do database.db. And then if I come back over here and I do upgrade ahead, running, and then we should have database.db somewhere, right? Yes, no, maybe. Oh, there it is. I mean, PyTest is all right. Like, I don't think there's any language that really has like the ideal testing library. PyTest is pretty good. It's got its weird little quirks and stuff, but it works pretty well. Like, it does its job. It's handy. It has a lot of features that are really helpful. Like, it's an upgrade over like the built-in unit test package, which is why I use it. So, yeah, pretty much that. All right, so we've got this working. We've got Alembic. So we've got a few things done here. We got Alembic functioning with async, right? Yes. We don't need a lot of this. We can get rid of this. And then we can get rid of that. Right like that. So that should work. We can run Alembic again. There we go. Whoop. Yeah. All right. So now we've got Alembic working with an async backend. And the reason why that's important is because I'm going to be running Alembic against a Postgres database in production. And I don't want to have to install the sync driver to run my migrations and then the async driver to work with Fast API. So I want everything to work on one single driver. And like that got working pretty easily. Like I've got this all configured, like it's all async. I've got the async def here. We're doing an async with here. And so that's making it work. And then in the INI, if we go back to the Alembic INI right here, I've got where is it set? Where is it set in here? Right here, we've got the AIO SQLite, which is the package that it's supposed to use for async. And like we still have the annoyance of running it locally. It's using the same config files when we run it in production. That's not a huge issue right now. I'm not going to worry about it. And that's actually easier to fix. I actually have that working on the other project. All right. So I didn't get as much progress on this as I would have liked, but we got the database working, which apparently was a much harder thing to do than I thought it would be. But it's working now, which is great. So this bit will actually probably get moved out into the database. Let's do that now. Let's create a file, pf database. So we're going to have that, right? And then we're going to have this go there. And then we do from bit.database import connect. And then engine equals connect. Right, that. And then in here, we're going to have def connect. And the reason we're going to do this, import SQLalchemy.ext.asyncio. And the reason we do this is because I'm probably going to want to tie this right here to a config file. And so I'm not going to want to have to do all kinds of crazy stuff to get that configured. Yes, no, maybe. Yeah. We'll have this working with a config file. So let me do this. Config settings. And then we'll do settings dot URI. And then inside of here, inside of the tests, we come back over here and we're going to do class db settings URI equals that right there. And then I can pass the settings into like that. So now, no name pipe. Oh, because I've got this right here. We don't need that anymore. We can run that. There we go. Cool. So now all of the connection stuff is being stored in a settings object. And then we have a connection function that uses that. So if we ever need to do anything fancier than just this, we can. And we don't have to rewrite the tests, and we won't have to rewrite anything else inside the package. All right, cool. So we got that working. And then we can come over here. We can go ahead and start committing stuff. We can get rid of these lines because that was for that. Well, yeah, we'll get rid of these lines. Discard lines. We can only jump back into the ENV because we've got some stuff from when we were experimenting with this that I don't want in here anymore. Get rid of that, right like that. There we go. Back over here. Just scanning through it, making sure everything looks like it makes sense. All right. Set up Alembic to work with async drivers. And then we have database.py. Set up the database. Like that. Push that. There we go. Cool. All right. All right. Any other questions? Anything before we call it a day? We're at about 2 hours here. It took us about 2 hours to bang our head against something and realize that we didn't need that something. And that happens sometimes. Like, that's part of the coding process. Alrighty. The last week. That's how much it shows. Alrighty. Collaboration session. Just checking the Discord real quick. Alright. Alrighty. I think I'm pretty much set up here. I'm pretty set. Like, once you have the database, because that's the tricky part, getting the database connected, getting it all working with the tests. Like, I'm prioritizing everything being like tests first. And that like makes sure that like I can ensure everything is functioning every time I make a change and all of that. And like I honestly don't know why the code wasn't working. Like I straight up was following the tutorial right here, this tutorial here, when I set everything up before. So I'm not sure why none of it was working. Doesn't really make any sense to me. But now it's working. So that's cool. Really weird. Really random. Uh-huh. All right. Yeah, I'm just trying to think here. Is there anything else? Like, if you're joining the stream and or watching the video at a later date, and you're not a member of the Beginner That Codes Discord, feel free to check out the description below. It should have the link to the Discord. We're about 7,600, 7,700 people right now. We're we're growing pretty fast, but it still has that like small server feel. Like if you send a message in a channel, it's not going to get lost in all the conversation. I know, like I've jumped over on like the Python Discord, like, oh my gosh, you get lost in the chat so fast over there. And they have so many channels for just discussion and talking and all that. But like our server, it's large. People get their questions answered probably like 90% more than that of the time, especially if they ask a good, well-asked question. So like, yeah, if you're joining us and you're not a part of the Discord, be sure to check us out there. If you want to ask me any questions, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Discord, I'm here. So be sure to check it out. Let us know what you're doing. We love to see what everybody else is making, what they're building. I've seen some really cool stuff on the Discord recently. Like Northern Hemisphere, it's like getting into summer. Everybody's getting out of school. I know here in the United States, like everybody just had their finals for the colleges all had their finals, so they're all out of school right now. They've got the summer off. There's a lot of people with a lot of time to do cool stuff, so we love to see that in the showing off channel. Like we love to see the things you're building. Like I know, like Loudcat, he recently built some really cool stuff with processing. It's some really awesome stuff out there. Like you should check it out, share what you're doing, let us know what's going on. I've had fun tonight. It's a little bit frustrating getting that working. And like I think it's important to understand that like no matter how good you are at coding, there's gonna be things you're gonna bump your head up against, and it's not gonna make any sense. And when that happens, it's just like start adding print statements, jump into a debugger and like see what each line is doing, add some breakpoints and check it out in your debugger, see what's happening, figure out what the code is doing line by line. What do you may expect something at one line, print it out, check it in the debugger, see what's actually happening at that line, and figure out where things are diverging from what's in your head and what's in the code. Like that's what's the most important. And if you're really stumped, delete it all. Just go right back to the basics, pull up the tutorial explaining how to do it, and just go line by line. Adding it in, trying to make sure each line that you're adding is doing the thing you thought it was doing, and that what you're doing is actually having the impact, the effect you expect it to. And you've seen that's what I did. Like I literally, like, I wasn't sure if it was the async code, I wasn't sure if it was PyTests, so I literally jumped out into a file that was just a Python file with my code in it. And I ran that code as just no async, no PyTest, just code in a file, running sync. Running like just an old-fashioned synchronous Python file. Just to get rid of all the magic. And it still didn't work. So I just went right back to the basics. I jumped, like you saw me. I jumped into where is it? The Orm Quick Start, literally the first link on the sidebar. I jumped into the Quick Start, scrolled through it, started from the top, line by line, implemented what he was doing, and got it to work. And then once I got it to work, I was able to add in anything I needed to change, anything I needed to do. And then I was able to just change that over to the async. I ran into an issue, so I pulled up the async intro, like literally, let's see. ORM extinctions, async IO, the synopsis of how it works, and like it's literally the second link in the section. Literally, there's installation notes, and then that's where I went. Like it's as early in the tutorial explaining how to use async with SQL Alchemy as you could go, and I found the thing I needed, made the change I needed. Like, I'm going back to the basics here to figure this out and understand it. And so when you're debugging a problem, there's nothing wrong with just deleting your code, going all the way back to the tutorials, all the way back to the beginner introductory tutorials, implement that, get it working. Just get something that's working, and then add your changes iteratively onto that. Like, coding is a while loop. Quite literally, it's a while loop. You just keep making changes until something breaks, and then you go back and you step back and you make more changes to try and get that working. Once you get that working, You move on to the next step. You add in another changes. You iterate on your code, getting it working one step at a time, one step at a time. And if you ever find that you're at a point where you did something, you don't know what you did, and you broke it, delete it. Go back to where you were. And like, that's what's great about like using Git. Like, if you made some changes and you can't figure out what you did, and you have a whole bunch of changes, just jump into Git. If you haven't committed anything, Git reset head. Like, you see, literally, if it shows up as a suggestion on mine, Git reset head hard. That'll get rid of every change you've made and bring you back to your last commit. So you are right back to hopefully what should be working code. Like, ideally, you're not committing broken code. You're committing code that's functioning. So if you do that Git reset head hard, you're going to be right back at, well, the lab was working last. So I didn't have to do that here. I knew, like, I'd been putting everything in a specific spot, so I knew exactly where it was. I have a really good grasp of this code, what it's doing. It just wasn't functioning. It should have been functioning. And like I said, at this point, I don't know what was broken. And just resetting back to 0 and building it iteratively up, getting that sync code working from the tutorial, and then making that async, looking at the tutorial where I needed to, one step at a time. I was able to get it right back up to where I needed it to be. And now it's functioning. It's doing exactly what I wanted it to. And it's ready for me to next week actually make this thing function. To create, we need to have it set up to create users. And then we've got to have it set up to create bits. So like, because right now, we don't have a way to add users to the database. So that's going to be the next step. Add users to the database. Do I have a project set up for this? We can jump on GitHub and you can check that out. Let me jump over. Where do I gotta go? I gotta go here. And then right here. Do I have projects? Projects classics, projects beta, add project. I don't have a project for this, it doesn't look like. Let's jump over here. Initial release of bit. Yeah, right here. List bits, create bit, add a file bit, edit a file, rename a file, add a Discord login, delete a file, add a name for database, create a user. This needs to be moved up. We're going to move this up to the right here. And then we can move this up here. Gonna add this up here. So there, now I've got like a list of things I need to do that I could start working on. And so next week we'll pull that up and we'll use that. I'm not sure how to remind myself. You guys can remind me maybe. Like, we'll see. We'll remember, hopefully, that this is here and we can use this. I've got this Kanban. We can just no status, create a user, use. This is what we're going to work on next week, I think. Maybe we'll get to create a bit and list a bit. List bits. All right. Like, I feel like once we get it rolling, once we've got the users logging in, once we've got the ability to list bits, once we're able to authenticate through the API, I feel like it's just going to start falling into place, and then we'll be able to build the front end. I think Moses was trying to like work on something for that, because I know he had built a really cool React front end for working with Markdown and like code highlighting and all that fun stuff. So hopefully he'll be able to just like throw something right at it and have it working right away. We'll see. Worst case scenario, I've got to figure something else out myself, and that's not a big deal. It'll be fun though, because hopefully the idea is right now when you go onto the Discord and you share a file, you upload a file to the Discord. The bot removes the file that you uploaded, uploads it to a GitHub gist on my user account as a private gist, and then it shares that link where the message was uploaded, or the file was uploaded. So this way now the file is safely on the internet. We don't have to download it. We can just look at it on GitHub. The idea is to replace that with our own service that'll be able to do a little bit more maybe. It's like it'll be able to list out files. We'll be able to give you the ability to rename your files. Maybe in the future, edit your files. In the future, you'll be able to, hopefully, the idea is maybe someday allow people to collaborate in real time and show each other, like make changes. Maybe have like a side by side where like I have my file and you upload a file and then I can jump in and I'll be able to make changes. You'll be able to see them next to your original file. So you can compare the changes right there on the spot. It'll be interesting. It'll be fun. It'll be fun to see. We might be able to take our Python code runner that we have working right now, and we want to expand that to like JavaScript and maybe C. And like we're gonna do some interesting things there, and maybe we'll be able to make it so you can literally run your entire project, multiple files, right there on the bit.beginner.code's website. So that's where we're hoping to go. That's the direction we want to go. Trying to make something really cool here. I made up some designs. Like, I can show those. Figma. Let's see. I'll pull that up real quick. Log in with browser. This should just take a second. Continue with Google. There we go. Install on next launch, because I am using this. Why did that not work? Open the desktop. Open Figma. Something weird went there. All right. Okay, here we go. This is the one. This one right here. This is the hopeful design that we're looking to do. I mean, that's going to have syntax highlighting, but you're going to have your like file list on the side. You're going to be able to add files. You'll be able to delete files from it, rename files. You'll be able to do all that kind of stuff. And hopefully, eventually, someday you'll be able to run it. So you'll have like a console down here. It'll be fun. It'll be really fun. It'll be really interesting. It's a fun project. It's a big project. We'll get there eventually, someday, hopefully. But to get started, it's just going to be upload files so we can view them on the internet. And it'll hopefully look nice and clean, be really cool, and give you more functionality than the bot currently gives you. Because right now, the bot just uploads it to my GitHub. I try to be helpful. Like if I see someone, when you paste code that's too large into Discord, and then you upload that as a file, it gets named message.txt. So if you paste in some like Python code or JavaScript code, there's no syntax highlighting on GitHub gists because you've uploaded it as message.txt. When I see that, I try to jump into my gist and rename it to like .py or .json to get the syntax highlighting for everybody. This hopefully will be smarter. We'll be able to make it a lot smarter, detect the language, that kind of stuff. And you'll be able, and if it doesn't, you'll be able to go in, rename the file, and then get that syntax highlighting. So that's the goal. That's the goal right there. And yeah, I want to have a clean interface because like right now, like if you use Pastebin, it's kind of messy looking. Even like what's the Python or yeah, the Python one. paste.pythondiscord.com. Yeah, this one doesn't look too bad, but it's literally just a single file. It's just the code. It's not the greatest. Like I want to have something a little bit more in depth, a little bit more advanced, something that you can really work with code in on. And like if you look at like the GitHub gists, I don't know if I have one that I can show off. Like we can probably show off just like a random one. Back. No, I don't want to go back to GitHub. I want to go here. How do I list all gists? Like this one, like you literally have to scroll down to see all the files. Like there's no file list. So if there's multiple files, they all show up one after the other, which isn't the greatest. So I want to address these issues. I want to make something that works for us, that does works with what we're doing. And I think this will do that. We got to work on this light mode. Like this isn't the worst. Then again, none of us like light mode. So I feel like when I design a light mode, it's not gonna be the most appealing thing to us. So we're just gonna be like, oh, that's gross. But yeah, so that's kind of like the direction we're going. It's gonna be fun. This is what I've been working on the last few weeks when I do the Wednesday nights. Like I said, the Wednesday nights are not just me coding, not just me talking. It's a hangout. It's a time where everybody can ask their own questions. So, all right, I'm gonna call it a night. I gotta get dinner. I gotta get ready for work tomorrow. I got a lot to do tonight. So you all have a great week. I will be streaming live Sunday at 3 p.m. Yeah, 3 p.m. Eastern Date Time. So if you want to join me then, we're going to be working on the file sharing web app. That's going to be actually like uploading files and syncing files. And we're actually making a lot of progress on that. Last Sunday, I worked on looking at Typer so we can build a CLI so you can sync files using a command line interface. And we're soon going to be working on a web front end for that after we finish the Typer CLI interface. So y'all have a great week. I'll see y'all Sunday. Adios.